about the sea, or the thing they were working on, and sea demons and Herschel and Rotz working together. The people, like huge linebacker dudes, came out, and the people thought they were getting saved, but they kind of weren't. Basically, at the end, we were investigating the building or the meetup location for all these AEC. I don't know if they're CEOs, but like stockholders or whatever.
Yeah, stockholders.
Yeah.
And I had my buddy trying to talk to all the supernatural people to find out what he knew. And I was making a post on HunterNet to say, hey, does anyone know about AECs? Anyone in the area? Can anyone help? And I think Mason was like checking out the building, trying to get blueprints or something, I think.
I was casing it out pretty much.
Okay. But basically, we were trying to get ready for, we have 1 week trying to get ready before this meeting, I think.
Right. Okay. I don't know why, but I can't seem to find the, there it is. So, I guess we'll start off at, I thought I had it in here. Did I have a map for, well, if I don't have a map for Zephyr's apartment, then we could start at Mason's junkyard, which
You
he
didn't
had
have
pretty.
a map. It was just like a picture of a.
Yeah, the one from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, Charlie's lot.
Yeah.
So in that case, why don't we start at Mason's junkyard? Because as I recall, Mason had basically cleared his family away from there.
Yeah.
And he was now using it as sort of his solo base of operations. And then, oh, that's right. I need to come up with a token for Foster.
Casper.
I'm not going to make a token of Casper the Friendly Ghost. Here, Jad, why don't you, I don't know, do a Google search of anybody who you think Foster would look like, and then just send me the image, and I'll make a token out of him.
Okay.
Okay. In the meantime, add your token to the junkyard map, and then I guess we'll get started.
How do I add my token?
If you go to Journal, where it says Characters,
yep,
you should just be able to drag that into the map.
Thought I had it. There.
Yep.
There we go. I keep highlighting stuff. It was giving me a problem. Okay.
Okay. All right. So, Zephyr and Mason sit inside Mason's living room, and they have gotten a couple of messages back. One from Dev212 with information about everything she could find on not only AEC, but the specific board members you were asking for. It took a little bit of digging, but she managed to find it. And then she has also sent you a forwarded message from Driver 85, who has asked to meet with you guys because he wants in on whatever plan you guys have to deal with AEC.
Okay.
Did
she offer like a suggestion of when he wants to meet, or?
Yeah, let's call it today.
All right.
in the area.
The provide a location, or we supposed to provide one?
He says he'll go to whatever location that
We can just go to the same coffee shop we met him last time. I think he
Yeah.
was the one we met last time.
this
Truck
isn't the
guy.
same guy you met. This is
Oh.
that was Rails.
Oh, Rails.
And
Okay.
yeah, driver's a different guy.
Right.
Okay, that coffee shop, and he says just to put out the hunter symbol for meeting place out on the front, and he'll know it's you guys.
Okay.
So all right, so there's that, and then if you look at the email that Dev 212 has a link for you, and when you click that link, it opens up an IM chat with her because she wants to make sure that she tells you all this personally and in real time, just so that nothing is missed.
I'll let Zephyr handle the technology stuff, computer stuff.
Okay.
All right.
Hey, what's up, Dev? You wanted to chat?
She says, "Yeah, glad you guys are on. I got that information you asked for. So, in order of importance, the guys you're looking at are Charles Herschel, the Gulfport branch president of AEC, John Tobin, head of legal for the Gulfport branch, deceased, Forrest Scott, operations director, the man that Mason was safeguarding the other day, and Reed Giles, the purchasing commissioner / asset acquisitions manager, who is the guy that Mason saved in the bar." Yeah.
What's the? Hey, sorry, I was trying to write that down. Can you tell me who the first two people were again, Dev?
Sure. Sorry about that. You know what? I'll actually, for out of game, I'll actually just copy and paste
Okay.
the information into the thing. All right. So that's what Foster looks like. Very cool.
So these are the four head honchos, huh?
These are the guys that are running the Gulfport branch of AEC, yes. And they had basically everything that had anything to do with the Trident, the offshore drilling platform. That was down to these four guys.
Is it only going to be these four guys at the meeting?
Basically, these are the targets of the ROTS that you met with, and the ROTS that you met with would otherwise be known as the Trident senior staff.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, these four guys are the targets of the Trident senior staff.
What? Have you ever done anything like this before? And I'm kind of looking at Mason and looking back at the chat. Like, do you have any advice or?
Done anything like what exactly? What are you planning?
We're planning to get rid of them.
She types back, "That sounds fine by me, but no, I've never I've never, staged any sort of raid or anything, if that's what you're asking. Driver 85 will have more details, and he will have a special package from me to you that you guys are going to need to use, but he'll explain more about that to you later. For now, let me just fill you in on these guys. So there's John Tobin. Him and his family are already dead. Tobin was in charge of covering the whole thing up and making sure that none of the AEC executives saw any jail time for the Trident incident. How they were able to do this, I'm not sure, but they managed to provide documents that showed the rig was in perfect working order before the accident, which was attributed to the drill hitting an undetected gas pocket, which set off a chain reaction. But, I've been to a lot of drilling sites and a lot of AEC conspiracy sites, and everyone says the same thing, that there's no way a gas pocket could have caused the amount of damage that it did. There must have been some sort of flaws in the rig itself for the amount of explosions to have occurred. I know it sounds really 9/11 truthy, but that's the information I was able to gather.
Okay.
Forrest Scott was the operations director. He was aboard the Trident when it blew, and ultimately it was his responsibility to make sure everything ran smoothly. When the engineers came to Scott and told him the rig was being taxed too heavily, he told them to push on until it broke down because, quote, maintenance techs were on their way and soon they would hit a mother load and wouldn't need the drill anymore, unquote. Yeah, so apparently a bunch of the crew on the Trident came to this guy and said, hey, we should slow down, and he said full speed ahead.
Wow.
Yep.
Well, they definitely sound justified.
Oh, and there's more. You've got Reed Giles, the person in charge of renting the Trident from its manufacturers. See, AEC didn't build the Trident. They borrowed it, basically, from a different company. But it was his responsibility to inspect the rig in detail before he deployed it. According to a source I have, Giles should have ordered a more thorough inspection because the rig should have not have exploded that catastrophically from a gas pocket, as I said earlier. So, I mean, Forrest should have knew that, something was going wrong. Reed should have known from the beginning that they were sending it out not at 100%.
Were you able to find anything on what that mother load was? What they were actually looking for?
Well, I mean, ostensibly it was oil. I want to believe it was oil. Driver has his own theory, which he'll share with you, but I mean, that's kind of out of my wheelhouse. So, I just assume it was oil and that they wouldn't need the drill anymore. They would basically break through to this mother load and then just be able to suction it all up. So, which in theory would have been a easier process. Which brings us to the head honcho, Charles Herschel, the guy at the top. He knew that underwater oil drilling was a risky move in terms of PR and the environment, especially in the advent of the clean energy race. He knew that a mistake of any kind could have unending consequences, and he chose to roll the dice anyway. And from what you guys tell me, he is also a ritualistic serial killer. So he's got that going for him. But I have to say that I kind of agree with your zombie buddies, guys. What happened to them and to the rest of the crew is essentially down to these four guys. So, I mean, if these guys got to go, they got to go. I'm not going to shed any tears over it.
What do you guys do in terms of like damage control when you raid like another? Basically, I'm trying to ask, like, if hunters raid a vampire den, how do they cover that up, or what do they say to the public or anything?
Well, the media tends to cover that up, but if you're worried about security cameras or anything, I'd go in with masks if I were you.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they will say like some terrorist group or some some eco-terrorist militia group who was pissed off about the Trident incident, went in and killed a bunch of the executives. Yeah, that would spin perfectly in the media. I doubt they're going to say anything about the occult or zombies or anything like that. She types back.
I'll kind of look at Mason. Do you have any questions?
Not really, no.
I'm not going to lie to you guys, though, she types. They've got Mason's whole life in a file. So if anything happens to them, if anybody suspects that he might have something to do with their murder, he could get in a lot of trouble. I mean, that could be it for him, legally
Do you think
speaking.
we could destroy that file?
Well, Driver will be able to help you out with that. It depends on, how much time you guys end up having once you actually commit to this thing. But it's possible, yes.
Okay. Okay, I think I'm good. If Mason doesn't have anything to ask, then I'll kind of say thanks and sign off.
Yeah, Mason, just sort of shakes his head.
Okay, meet up with Driver 85 at that address, and he'll explain more.
All right.
So she signs off.
And we still have a week until we're supposed to be doing this thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
You got some time.
Cool. All right. Well, I do like that bit about equal terrorists. That framing. That was pretty like a good cover.
Do you think we'd have better luck if we tried to get to them individually before the meeting, or just
Well, I think if we try to hit one, they're probably going to clam up real tight, or at least the other ones are going to. And that's just going to make it hard to take them all out. I think having them all nice and clustered together like that is probably our best bet. Take them in one sweep.
I feel like my conscience is wanting me to just let the rots get in there and do what they need to do. I don't really want to have the death of 4 people on my conscience. Like, I don't want to pull the trigger.
Well, might I remind you that these 4 people, they got their hands pretty, deep in blood. So it's not like exactly, taking out innocents.
Yeah, I just didn't picture myself going from just a simple punk band to now a killer, if you know what I mean.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean.
All
right.
Okay.
Yeah, let's get ready to meet this driver guy.
Okay.
Yeah, Mason's gonna, go over, get ready.
Okay.
Maybe go over to the bathroom, grab some deodorant, just do a few swipes on his pits. There we go. Get some water, freshen up. He still has stubble though.
Axe.
Yeah. And he sprays like a whole bunch on too. To cover up the smell of the alcohol and the cigarettes that he always is puffing on.
Do the spray and then the run.
Yeah.
Okay. We're meeting Driver today, right?
Yeah. And I'd like to get there, like an hour early.
Sure. I'm cool with that.
Okay. That's fine.
And yeah.
1 second. I just gotta get this. Yeah. That's about right. Okay. So you guys head to the coffee shop.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, beforehand though, I will print out hunter symbol, on a piece of paper, make it look like a flyer, sort of, you know, like that one guy Rails did when we first met him in the coffee shop.
Oh, cool.
That's a. Could we do like? Could we make band flyers, but with the hunter text in it, like asking for help, and just post that up around town?
Yeah.
Yeah, because then maybe we might get like some local people who want to do.
Right.
Yeah, you make your flyer, and I'll make like band flyers, but with the like some of that hunter text, and I'll put my phone number on it.
Okay, guys. So what time do you think? Like maybe it's noon right about now.
Okay.
Okay. So let's say that you have to meet with a driver around 4 p.m.
All right.
Sound good? Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
So that gives you a few hours to print out these flyers and everything. So do you spend some time putting up the flyers before, or just printing them out?
Yeah, I try to be efficient with it and spend those 3 or 4 hours like walking around and stapling them to those posts.
Sure. So whereabouts in Gulfport do you post them?
Um, Kind of the same place that normal flyers would be. So like coffee shops or on those like wooden, like power, I don't know the term from, but the wooden beams that everyone staples stuff to.
Okay, sure.
Bulletin boards. Um,
So do me a favor and roll. Let's see. I want to say charisma, an expression, because you're gonna have to deal with shop owners. When you ask them to put your flyer up and everything. So let me see. Yeah, go ahead and you know what? Roll charisma streetwise to see how successful you are. Difficulty 6.
Charisma, streetwise. Nope, 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 nope. Difficulty 6.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
5 successes.
Holy crap.
Okay, yeah. You're very persuasive at getting people to let you put your flyers up. So, all right. Yeah, you get a decent range of spread in these flyers. Okay. Do you have anything else you want to do before your meeting with Driver 85?
I don't. No.
Yeah, I really don't have anything that can be fitted in with a few hours. So yeah, I'll just sort of maybe help Zephyr, not try to cajole shopkeepers to putting it up, just more like just stapling them onto poles and
Sure.
stuff.
Sure. Hey guys, give me just 1 second to get some water. I'll be right back.
Man, 5 successes with 5 dice.
Okay. So, yeah.
No attribute was found for a health penalty.
What's happening?
I'm trying to figure out why it's giving me that error.
What error?
Something about a health penalty.
Huh. One sec. This is in your character sheet?
Does Mike go out?
I don't know.
He's not muted.
Oh, you know what? I think you didn't have unharmed checked.
Hmm.
Hey, Jad, if you're there, we can't hear you, man.
Maybe we'll try typing.
Okay. Internet just went out. Okay. Okay. We'll give you a few minutes to set. And Connor, if you haven't already, check the unharmed box on your character sheet as well.
Yeah, just did.
Cool.
You remember what the experience cost is for things, or where the experience table is?
Yeah, I have that in an image folder. Let me bring it up real quick.
Because I realize I have 29 EXP stored. That's a lot.
Jesus.
Yeah, I think the only thing I've actually bought so far is 1 dot and a cult.
Nice. I had it. Let me, you know what? It's in my phone. So I'll send it to you on my Skype app on my phone. That's easy. Connor, do you hear singing
uh,
from my end?
no, not really.
Good.
I think I found it. Attribute is current rating times 4. New ability is 3. Ability is current times 2. Willpower is current.
Yeah, my bad, man. This just took me a minute to find. Oh, come on, what are you doing?
Do you mind if I spend some EXP right now since we're waiting for Zephyr?
I don't mind. No.
I will. Could I spend, or could I bump my strength of 2 dots up to 3 since I've been getting into a lot of fights lately?
What are you? I'm sorry. What specifically are you?
Bumping my strength of 2 dots up to 3.
Sure.
All right. That costs 8. Knock that down. What else have I done? Oh, could I get a dot of subterfuge since I've been lying to people? At least I was lying to people.
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
All right.
You're back?
Yes, I'm back.
Okay, so yeah, just check unharmed on your thing. That's why you're getting that error message.
Okay, got it.
Yes. The experience cost is 3 for a new ability, current rating times 4 for a new attribute, and a new ability is current rating times 2, and willpower is just your current rating.
Yeah. All right. I think I'm good.
Okay. And then, mark down how much XP that cost accordingly.
What do you do?
I bumped my strength up to 3 dots, and I got a new dot in subterfuge. Put it to
Nice.
1.
What's
Okay.
your strength at now?
It's just 3.
3?
So I'm a bit above average for the normal human.
Okay. Do you guys see the coffee shop?
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool. Go ahead and drag your token somewhere into there.
This is my seat, boy.
Oh, is it too big?
I'll go there. Yeah, there's like 4
Okay.
hexes per tile, but whatever.
Hang on. No, we're gonna do this right. Is that more normal? Put your guys in chairs and see if that's okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So, all right. Ridiculous. So you sit down at the table with some coffee or tea or whatever you choose to get.
I take a double espresso with whipped cream and a cherry.
I
Mason's
take a hot chocolate with extra whipped cream.
Wow. Okay. So you sit there with your drinks and with your flyer sort of prominently outward so that anybody who walks by could spot it.
Mhm.
And around 4 o'clock, a sort of tall gentleman with a beard, looks like he's in his late 20s, walks in, and he looks around, and noticing that you two are pretty much the only ones in the shop, sort of guesses that you're the people he's here to meet. And he asks Scrapper, like he looks at Mason, he asks Scrapper?
Yep, that's me.
Yeah. Driver 85.
Give him a
And
handshake.
he shakes both your hands, and he pulls up a chair. He says, but you guys can call me Travis in public.
All right. Name's Mason.
Hey, Jackie. Nice to meet you, Travis.
It's a pleasure. So, you guys have been speaking to Dev?
Yep, that we have.
Okay.
I'm
So,
guessing she's giving you most of the details, right?
she has, and she's asked me to fill you guys in on some other ones. But if you'll just do me a solid, I got the broad strokes from her. So the trident, I knew that was AEC's fault, but you're saying there was something supernatural behind it?
Yeah. Well, I guess I'll lay down the groundwork for it. Hold on, I'm going to my notes real quick.
Sure.
All right, so yeah, the Trident. They were drilling on for oil in the Gulf. Apparently, AEC had some friendly senators and whatnot. Uh, Managed to maneuver around any sort of regulations and stuff like that. 6 months, all smooth sailing, and then there was that one fateful night the explosion happened. Everyone heard of it. YouTube. Fire and oil everywhere, men burning, and but apparently, what they didn't say on the news and all the reports, uh, quite a few of the crew, at least half, got loaded up on some lifeboats and started heading to the Gulf port. However, unfortunately, the boats lost power about halfway through, got stranded on the water. And that's when things started to come on board at night. Bit hard to see. They were creatures, real strong too, apparently. And then after that, there was some other boat that came in carrying Charles Herschel. He's what you call it, the Gulfport branch president here. I'm sure you've heard of him. Anyways, Charles Herschel came with a woman, and one of the creatures was talking to Herschel. I don't know exactly what happened, but apparently they came to some sort of deal, and the crew went over on that new boat, and the creatures vanished back into the water. About an hour later, they all arrived on shore. Uh, some of the crew was supposed to go home, at least that's what they were told, but they had to sort of stay behind a little bit for some sort of deal. That was when the creatures returned and started to round them up. They pushed them into a room with that strange woman, started chanting something, and apparently they got their throats cut, some sort of ritual, weird symbols and everything painted in that room. And then they started drowning them for some reason. I don't know exactly what the hell is going on, but AEC is neck deep in it. And obviously, all this shit that we learned was from the Roths themselves when they sort of came back for vengeance and whatnot. We managed to talk to them a little bit.
This woman, they tell you what she looked like?
I look over at Zephyr. You remember hearing them mention anything about that?
I don't remember.
Tell you what I don't like, Travis says. I don't like that Rots are putting you up to this. I mean, I get it. Not every zombie is a bad zombie, and some of them are perfectly justified coming back to do whatever it is they feel they got to do.
And listen, I don't like it much either, but AEC, they're pretty much, the whole problem. These Rots, they're sort of just a symptom.
How'd you get involved with AEC in the first place?
It's a long story, but I guess to make it a bit shorter, a Rot sort of happened upon some guy in a bar, and I sort of broke it up, saved his life, and that's when sort of got tangled up with AEC because the person I saved was an executive of theirs.
Huh. Okay. Let me fill you in on some stuff about AEC that you might not know. A few months ago, they were in Gainesville, Florida. And I don't know if you guys read about this in the news or saw it on TV or the internet or whatever, but you remember that Micanopy Native American Heritage Preserve protest thing? And he asks you this, and roll perception, and I guess shit. What's the thing that would like give you insight as to what's going on in the world. I want to say it's not academics. Maybe it's politics. Maybe.
Subculture? No, not subculture.
No.
Drive, emotions, tolerance, subterfuge.
No, it would definitely be under knowledges.
Locale, politics.
Everyone, locale.
Let's say it's politics. So just roll perception politics difficulty 6 and
Yes, Mason is very tapped into the local politics.
Nope.
Oh my god!
What?
okay. So Jackie hasn't heard of it, but Mason has. Basically, this was the in-universe equivalent to the Standing Rock protest.
Okay.
And it just so happened to take place a little bit south of Gainesville, Florida.
Yeah, Mason will give a nod. Yeah, I heard of it.
Yeah.
What's AEC got to do with that?
Well, you might remember that they got chased off after it turned out that the mayor had actually sold them the rights to dig there for the oil pipeline illegally. Like, he didn't actually own those rights. So the mayor got, deposed, and AEC got into a bit of trouble, but then eventually it was decided that they didn't know about what the mayor was doing, so they got off scot-free. I was there when that protest was going down and when the AEC was pushing to be able to drill into the preserve. We, myself and a bunch of other hunters, we encountered rots. Lots of them. Lots and lots and lots of them. And what we came to find out was there was a tear there. Now,
what?
Yeah. I don't know if you guys have heard of this yet. A tear. Some people call it a node. Others call it a cairn. But it all boils down to the same thing. It's a gateway between our world and the world of the dead. And the thing about this is, obviously, spirits can travel back and forth through this gateway, but what a lot of people don't know is that it's also a tremendous source of energy. And if someone or something were to discover a way to tap into this energy, say a group of wizards or maybe a pack of werewolves or, I don't know, some really rich and powerful energy company, they'd have quite an asset on their hands. So I don't think it was ever about the oil. And from what you guys are describing, with the guys who came out of the water and the explosion at the Trident, things are starting to make a lot more sense. I don't think they were ever looking for oil down below the surface of the water either. I think they found another tear.
That's not quite making sense to me. What is the energy company going to do with the portal?
Like I said, I don't know the science behind it, but these portals, they radiate power. I don't know how they tap into it. I don't know how they store it, but apparently they can, because they keep going after them.
Okay.
I know, it's weird to me too. But I think that AEC keeps going after these tears and trying to, suck the juice out of them. And in so doing, they widen them, or at least keep them stable enough for rots to just cross over willy-nilly, which is bad for America, kids. So And now you're telling me that they're sacrificing their own guys in ritualistic murder. That sounds like a spell to me. That could explain how they managed to keep dancing through the raindrops without getting wet.
What kind of spell?
Well, think about it. If some lady came to them and says, hey, let me, have the lives of your top guys, and I can get you out of this mess, she's clearly exhibiting some sort of influence over the press or the courts or somebody, probably able to forge documents in all the right places. All it takes is the juice from a few dozen souls, or maybe just a dozen, or even half a dozen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, so AEC's got a witch or something on payroll. Great.
Could be.
You ever taken out a witch or anything? How are we supposed to, I've only fought rots. I mean, so I don't really know, there's a different protocol or, do I need a wooden stake or something or?
No, the spellcasters die just like you or I do. Put a bullet in them, they go down.
All right.
The problem is actually getting close enough to put a bullet in them because they have tricks. I've seen guys unload entire clips on them and just hit nothing but air. I've chased one, I turn a corner and then they just disappear somehow. Mm-hmm. Or, some people will be chasing them through the streets and, or, maybe they're in a car chase and the spellcaster will get every green light. And then all of a sudden, every intersection for the hunter, there will be a red light or an old lady crossing the street or just like a 3-car pile up out of nowhere. Things just tend to go right for them.
All right.
Yeah.
So would doing what we're planning to do even stop them?
Well, what exactly were you planning to do?
Sort of.
Look at Mason.
We're sort of still trying to work out the particulars about that. We have a very loose idea of what we want to accomplish. We're just trying to figure out how to exactly get there. So far, what we do know is that those top AEC executives, the ones that were sort of involved in the Trident, they're going to be having a meeting at some stockholder, I guess, meet or whatever. And they're going to be all gathered together real nice and, tied like a present pretty much. And we were probably going to try to crash that little party.
And just kill everybody there?
We're really only going after 4 guys, other people. If there are others there, and I hope there aren't, we're not trying to go for them.
Well, it's a stockholders meeting. So there's, by definition, going to be stockholders present,
Yeah.
Guys who they might not be, involved in the decision-making process. They just supply all the money necessary.
Yes, which is, like I said before, we're going after 4 guys, or really the top, executives, and we're trying to figure out how to really only get them. Less collateral damage, better.
How do you, and you can get in there? How can you get in to their meeting?
As I said before, we have a goal we want to accomplish. We're trying to figure out how to exactly do that.
No, what I mean is how are you getting in the building itself? Like Travis doesn't know that you're working for AEC.
All right. Well, for myself, I do have a bit of, I guess you could say, leverage within AEC. They sort of, have me working for them from, time to time. Fortunately, they have something on me, and I sort of have to do what they say.
Huh. What exactly do they have on you?
Remember when I told you how I saved that one executive from a rot in the bar?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, apparently they have that body or some autopsy report, from when I beat the shit out of it. Looks like I murdered a man in cold blood in a bar with my fist, but it was me just taking down a rock. But I don't know how, normal people, lawyers and the public is gonna, take my side or.
This rot, he was one of the group that you met with earlier this week.
Yeah, he was one of the trident. I wouldn't say survivors, but you know what I mean, right?
Yeah. Point is, they'd know what that body looks like, right?
The rots.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure they would.
Okay. Let me make a couple of calls. We'll see what I can do about that. I think we can maybe get you out from underneath their thumb. But you're saying they've got you on the payroll, so you can get in and out of the building whenever you want?
I mean, it's not exactly like I got, an ID card or anything like that. They sort of call and send like a car to pick me up or something, and I usually, jump to it.
They did try to kill you.
Oh yeah, they're Wait, when was that? Things have been trying to kill me lately.
There was a text that I told you about that said, "We're gonna kill you." Like once you found where that rot was, you were gonna die.
Well,
I think that was more like they're dangerous. They're going to kill me potentially.
Yeah, pinky up. That Foster's assertion is basically that he didn't know for sure that AEC would kill him, but it's like he found out from several other ghostly people that AEC is not to be trusted, and they certainly would kill him if that was the opportune thing to do.
Oh, I mean, yeah, we've seen it. But the rots are there, pretty good examples. They were sacrificed ritually for AEC.
Yeah. No, they don't have plans to outright murder Mason just yet.
Yeah.
Okay. So Travis sits there with his arms crossed, and he sort of thinks to himself for a while, and he says, "Look, guys, if you want to ice these AEC guys, I'll help you. I don't know if it will solve anything or everything, but it will throw a wrench into their plans. These guys, see, they don't have a branch in Florida, so this is the nearest AEC branch to what was going down in Mycanope. So this is probably the branch that was controlling all of that. I'm not saying that there aren't other branches who are also trying to tap into these tears, but if we were to take these guys out, especially the one who was, at the center of the ritual, that could slow them down, at least. It might give us more time to figure out what's going on with them, who they're involved with, who this lady is, because that's the first I've heard of an outside party. I mean, I had to figure that, they were getting help from somewhere, but this confirms it. Now it's not just an educated guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can like see the gears in Travis's brain turning. Okay, so Mason, the way I see it, if you're working for them, and what have they got you doing? Consulting, security?
It's mostly security, and a little bit of chaperoning and whatnot.
All right. And you've got their phone number, I assume?
I've got a phone number of Reed Giles. He's the purchasing commissioner of local AEC here in Gulfport.
Pinky up. You also have the phone number of Gary Sims.
Oh
He's
yes,
there.
Gary Sin as well.
Okay. You should arrange a meeting to discuss security. You know, tell them you've got some new information, and tell them you want to, if not design the entire escape plan, you want to be on the you want to know what the escape plan is. Like you want to be in the planning process. And he gets down, he hunkers down real low, and he gets this like really conspiratorial tone in his voice. And he says, "Listen, if we can design the emergency escape plan for the executives, and then if we can create a credible threat and force them to leave, then we can pick them off as they run."
Mm-hmm.
You know what would actually work into that is, Mason, if you were to, we can use our like rot army as the reason for them to escape. You picked up the trail, you found that there was a lot more than just the one that escaped. There's actually a lot of them, and they're planning on ambushing all of them at once, and that could be the reason for them to escape, just so that we can catch them.
All right. Well, that means that the one doing the actual dirty deed is going to be us then.
No, I'm saying, say that there's a lot of rots coming to get them at the meeting, when in fact the rots are going to be waiting at the like escape point that we set up.
Mm.
But the threat of the rots being there would probably be enough to warrant them to escape.
Hmm. I don't know if I'm that good of a liar to really make it seem like credible of a threat.
Well, I'm sure we might be able to get in touch with them and get either, some like piece of clothing or some recording or something. If it comes down to it, like if they know that we're going to get all four of them, maybe even one of them would be willing to be your quote prisoner for a day to help sell it.
You mean you want one of the rots to sort of go on the offensive while the majority of them lie in wait for ambush?
Yeah, that could work. Something like that. Or you could like say that you've captured one and bring him in and have him say, we're all gonna kill you. We're all gonna be here, and that might make them try to leave. Like that could be our reason for them to go and escape.
Hmm. I think having the rots directly attack or whatever probably be a bigger, at least some of them directly attack, be a bigger motivator to get those AEC executives to start run like their pants on fire. I don't know if bringing one in from the cold, saying that there's a rot threat about to happen would work as well.
Yeah, you're probably right. Get a lot more, yeah. What do you think? And I'll look to our friend driver.
Travis. He's gonna say like if at all possible, I'd rather the casualties were kept to a minimum. Honestly, I'd rather nobody got caught in the crossfire at all.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I've got any weapons we might need, any equipment. I assume that AEC is outfitting you with some kind of weaponry.
I mean, I guess I can get a gun. They gave me a gun.
Okay. And Travis looks over at Jackie. What about you? You packing?
I got a pistol, but not much more than that.
Okay, I'll upgrade you. Don't worry. And then he reaches into his pocket and he pulls out what looks like a flash drive, and he says, "This is the key. This is everything. There's two things we absolutely have to make priority on this mission. One, you need to get me and this into their office building's IT room. And two, if at all possible, we need to take what's the big kahuna? The guy who was at the center of the ritual, what was his name?
Charles Herschel.
We need to take him alive. We need to find out everything he knows. Because he might be the key to stopping AEC in their tracks for good."
Mason points at the flash drive. And what exactly do you need to do with that? You copying files or something?
This has a lot of shit on it, but among other things, this will be a direct link for Dev 212 to get into AEC's servers and pull everything she'll need. Documents, records, bank statements, plans, you name it.
And how long does Dev 212 need to, do all this?
Travis lets out a deep sigh and says, "I can't say for sure."
I mean, is this something that, we have to do prior to, trying to take the AEC guys down, or is this something that we're doing during the whole plan?
It's going to have to be during, because if, there will obviously be alarms and firewalls and stuff like that, and the more of a distraction that we have while this is going on, the less likely that she will be detected while she's going through it.
All right. So essentially, it sounds like we need two groups. One person, or one group that's going to be, I guess, dealing with the ACE executives, because I doubt they're going to be heading to, where was the IT room or whatever we need to upload this thing.
Yeah.
I doubt they're going to be heading there. They're probably going to be heading, somewhere else, do an escape route, and then, to a safe room or something. So that's one group is going to have to deal with them. The other one's going to have to, I guess, do this. That's what we're planning.
Yeah. Have you got one other person in your group? I thought Dev said there were three of you.
Yeah, there's another guy. He's not here right now. He's sort of is still licking his wounds from the last rot encounter he had. But I'm sure, given a week's time, he'll be up and ready to go.
Okay.
Suppose we could maybe, have him do this. He seems pretty good with that infiltration work. Jack Boyle.
Forgot Jack Boyle. Jack Boyle.
All right. Sounds like a plan. So the layout you've been there before. You know the layout of the building, right?
I've got a little bit of an idea. Out of character, I believe I was only really in the lobby and the parking garage, right?
Okay.
Interrogation room, right?
Oh no, that was at a different building. I thought I brought Forrest Scott.
The interrogation room was in the same building.
Oh, okay. All right, then yeah, I have been there. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I know a bit about it. I've been there a couple of times.
Okay, so I'll see if Dev can get us a schematic of the building, and we can look for. Have you been to their parking garage?
Yeah.
All right. And out of character, you would know that the parking garage has 2 exits.
Okay.
So then Travis asks you how many exits there are, and you tell him there's 2. Okay. All right, cool. We can post up there. I mean, if they've only got the 2 possible exits, then if we get one group on one exit and one group on the other, then we should be able to take them out pretty easily. How well armed are? I assume you're not like the only guy on their security team.
Oh
How
no.
well armed are these guys?
At least the guys I was sort of, paired up with, they're pretty heavy duty guys, almost paramilitary, it seemed.
Spare no expense, Travis says. Crap. All right. How many of these rots are we working with again?
I think it was like 12.
No, there was like there was 6.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, there were 7.
I thought there was 30. There's 30, right?
No. That's how many died.
Yeah. Only a few came back.
Yeah, only a few came back. Yeah. Okay. So actually, 50 crew died, right? 50 lived,
Mm-hmm.
and then the senior staff of the Trident, they got ritualistically murdered.
Right. Yes.
And one of them has already been. One of them came back and was destroyed by Mason.
All right. Yeah. Well, from what I saw, it was pretty dark in that one building. I think it was about 6 or so.
Okay. Then we're going to need 3 of them at each entrance, and they're going to have to be on the front line. Zombies can soak up a lot of bullets, and they're just going to need to, if their one goal in their unlife is to take these guys out, then, and we're helping them, and we say that, we're going to take them out, then they'll be willing to sacrifice themselves. They're nothing if not fanatical in their purpose.
All right. And well, then I guess that leads to the main point, the main thing. How are we still trying to get the EC guys, up to it, to get out? I mean, if the rots are lying in wait, can't really use them too well. And we want to limit collateral damage, so we don't want to really send them gunning in.
What would cause everybody to evacuate a building?
I guess there's a fire alarm or a bomb threat. I don't know about rots using bombs, though.
Would an alarm or a threat be enough? Travis looks at you with one eyebrow up, as though he's asking a leading question.
I guess an alarm or a bomb threat, and my assurance that maybe the rots are the problem might cause them to get moving.
No, what I'm trying to say is why don't we actually start a fire?
Oh.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
I like, just out of character, I like how the Defender is all yeah, let's fucking feed him to the rots, and the Avengers I guess we could pull the fire alarm. No, let's fucking start a fire.
I only want to defend innocent people, but I feel like my character wouldn't feel comfortable just murking a dude.
I'm fine with killing the AEC guys. I'm just trying to not kill everyone else with them.
My character is I don't want to kill anybody, but I'm kind of okay if the rots kill them.
Yeah. As long as your own hands don't get dirty, I get it.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. I guess we can start a fire. That would certainly get people moving fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could work. I'm on the inside, so I'd probably be the easiest person to do it.
Okay. And you can get me into the IT room?
I mean, I guess I could try.
Yeah, if they haven't given you a card to get in and out, then you're gonna need to get one. Just you're gonna have to ask them I'm sure it shouldn't be too much of a problem. But I mean, you know,
Yeah.
you're not going to be able to do your job properly if you don't have the security code or security card.
Yeah, so if I get that, I don't think it should be too hard. It should be a lot easier getting you in. Just hopefully you look the part of IT to help sell it a bit.
Leave that to me. I've got a bunch of different changes of clothes. I can make myself look the part.
All right, good enough for me.
Okay. Okay. So Travis writes down his phone number, and he says, "Okay, the day before this meeting, call me, and then call me if you need me before that. But the day before, we are going to get you guys stocked up on weapons, equipment, all that kind of thing."
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh, just so you know, so it's not a surprise. There's a how do I put this? There's a ghost friend of mine. Just know that he'll be accompanying us.
Okay. Cool.
The weirdest part of this conversation. So,
a ghost. A ghost could probably get us into the building even easier than any security card could. Couldn't he just go through a door and spookify the lock and let us in?
I'm not so sure on how he would spookify stuff, but I can definitely try to get some info and see if he knows of a way in or how to get in.
Sounds good. Okay, that's good. That could actually be super useful. And listen, I mean, unless he's crucial to your plan, he could really be helpful keeping people out of the IT room while Dev is doing her thing.
Yes, he could.
Okay. All right. This is good. Okay. So, call me if you need me, and I'll call you guys if anything comes up on my end. Get in touch with your third guy, bring him up to speed, make sure he's willing to help us out, and I'll see you guys in a few days.
All right. It's nice to meet you, Travis. I give him another handshake as I, stand up.
He returns the handshake and he says, "The pleasure's all mine." And
thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. And he turns to walk away, and he walks out the door.
All right. Well, that went pretty good.
Yep. Didn't go so bad.
Yeah. Still, Still, I guess I still need to figure out how exactly I'm gonna have to broach the subject with Sims about how I can get on that security detail. Figure out, or at least maybe help plan, or at least just get on the team for the AEC executives there when the shit hits the fan.
I think you could.
I mean, because if I just go in there and say, "Hey, I know you got a shareholder meeting, coming up, where all you guys can be all, wrapped up nice in a tight and bow."
You could reiterate how you were able to track that rot, and maybe even though he eluded, you told him he eluded you. Hey, you're the one. You're still attuned to his scent or whatever. And you'd be able to figure out if he's coming back, which
yeah, that's a good reason, but it's how would I know about the shareholder meeting and that that sort of thing. I'm trying to figure out, wrap my head around.
What if you just mentioned that you took the initiative on your own and you went out and followed those tracks again, and you saw that there was not only one rot but a lot of them, and you were just offering this advice up? Hey, I know that I failed you and I tried to follow this guy, but I lost the trail. But actually, I went out yesterday and I saw that they had an abandoned house and there was like a lot of tracks and remnants. There's a lot of these rots, and I think they're planning something. Just thought you should be aware, and he might bring you in.
They already know about that. Remember, we led those guys to that one place.
Well, I mean, your value is that you can track them, right? You'd know where they're at. So it's possible that he'd want to bring you into the inner circle because you could see if they're coming before they get there.
I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't call me up the day before or whatever and told me to head on down to their headquarters while they do hold that sort of stockholder meeting just in case, insurance policy. I was just trying to see if I could, figure out a way to get, learn the details about what's going on with security, how AEC would react to a threat, a little bit before the day of. You understand?
What if we had the rots? What if we had like the rots like poke at their defenses to see how they respond? Like, let's have one of the rots make an appearance over here and see what their response is.
I don't know. If that was the case, they might, try to postpone or something that's shareholder meeting if there's too much of a threat.
Yeah.
That's what I would expect. I don't want to scare them, into their hidey holes too soon.
Is there any way that I could make just an intelligence roll or something in case, like out of character, if I'm not able to think of an idea, is there a way I can make a roll for my character to have an idea of what to do next, or a way that to approach this? Or something like that?
It'd probably be like intelligence tactics.
Could I try making a roll like that?
Yeah. It's gonna be okay. So it's gonna be difficulty 9. Yeah, and for you to just be able to like sort of pull a plan from thin air. Difficulty 9,
Sure.
and you'll need 3 successes.
This is a long shot, but let's see. 6, 9, 1, 0. No.
Yeah.
Well, I can't actually come up with anything else. Maybe this will be kind of a last minute thing.
No, I mean, you still have the two, the garage exit doors covered by the rods, at least in our plan. So, I mean, if they're going by car, there are only 2 ways out, and we have both covered. So, I don't think we need to worry too much. Is the shareholder meeting that they're doing at the end of the week? Is that something that's public knowledge too? Is it something it would be sort of reasonable for Mason to just hear about, or because I imagine that Gary Sims would be a bit surprised if Mason just suddenly knew that there's a shareholder meeting coming up. He just brought that up out of the blue.
I need to give me a sec.
I have no idea if these things are.
Okay, so uh, basically, a shareholders meeting is since the if the company is public, and it is, um, it kind of has to be since it's as big as it is.
Hmm.
Um, basically, they have to be common knowledge, um, because if you're a shareholder, then you need to be uh, appraised of like or apprised of when a shareholders meeting is going on, so that you can get a say in any decisions that are made. Because even if you only own one share, you still have a voice in the company's direction,
Yeah.
no matter how small that voice may be.
Okay. Oh, all right.
So it's
Yeah.
conceivable that Mason could hear of this.
Hmm. All right. Well, maybe our best bet here, if I want to, get in on the action a bit earlier, uh, I could maybe just lead to all those rots being sort of worked up into a tizzy as of late, that they probably planned something big. When I talk to Gary Sims, and I'm sure he might make the connection that if they're planning something big within the next week or so, shareholder meeting is probably where it's at, and he might bring me on sooner rather than later.
Yeah, that could work.
Just a general idea, but
Yeah, totally. Are there any other ideas that you guys want to, or things that you guys want to do before I move to the next section? Or
I want a different car to bring. I don't want to bring my very recognizable car to this. If we're gonna be using it, to ambush them in like the car garage to make a quick getaway.
I suppose you could always talk to Drew and ask him to borrow his car.
Can I just use I try to could I spend like a day or two just trying to fix up a junker in my scrapyard, just to give it like an engine, wheels, and a brake system.
Um,
I don't need it to last for long. It doesn't need to go too pretty either.
so you have a foreign crafts, and I assume your specialty is cars?
Yeah, I'm an auto mechanic, or I repair is my specialty.
Sure. Yeah, you would need to spend 2 days on it,
Okay.
and you would need to get a total of um. So 2 days, I'd give you 4 dexterity crafts rolls on it,
Dude.
with difficulty of 6. Um, you would need 6 successes between the 4 rolls.
Okay.
However, you could try to do it faster at a difficulty of 7, and then you would only need 5 successes. It's up to you.
Okay, so if I go faster, it'll only take how many days? Just one?
It'd take like a day and a half.
Dan, I'll just go with the 2 days. I really don't have too much else to do.
Okay.
Uh, wow. How many did
Damn.
I need?
Okay, so it's still going to take you 2 days to actually fix up the car, just
Hmm.
time and everything. But yeah, you managed to do it. You managed to fix up a junker in your yard.
All right. Cool.
Now, in the midst of that, and you can choose to. Oh, excuse me. You can choose to let Jackie handle this on his own, if you'd rather just focus on the car, or you can come with. But Foster has said, like, hey man, like, you have some people who want to talk with you guys about the whole AEC thing.
As in like shady guys, or as in like ghost friends? I mean,
Ghost friends. Yeah, that's basically what he says is ghost friends.
okay. I mean, is that for?
I mean, technically, in the old world sense of the word, they are shades. So in that sense, yes, they are shady guys.
If Zephyr needs me or wants me to come, I'll do it.
Yeah, this seems like the biggest thing we planned. I'd like your opinion on whatever he says.
Okay, yeah, then I'll go.
Okay. So, hang on. Let me pull up the map. There it is. So, you guys drive up to the address that Foster gives you, and it looks very familiar. Yeah.
Who is this guy again?
John Mullins, the
he's a hunter.
yeah, he's a redeemer. He's like in charge of Rise Up.
Yeah.
Or he's like one of the head guys in Rise Up.
All right. Well, you should probably do most of the talking here. I don't think John likes me too much.
Just drag our tokens in here.
Yeah.
Is Drew here as well?
Yeah, Drew's here. Which is a surprise to you guys.
I guess we'll walk up these steps. Oh, hey, Drew.
Hey, man. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'll just I'll get right to it. After the little encounter we had with those undead gentlemen back at that building, I went to John to ask for advice. I'm just going to say it. I don't feel comfortable killing those guys or letting, the Trident guys killing the AEC guys. I want to, I want to help them instead.
Uh-huh. And is that what you want to do too, John? And Mason will start looking over at John Mullers.
Yeah, he says, if what Drew tells me is accurate, then you have a host of angry spirits on your hands, and redemption is what I do. It's what we do. And he sort of like motions to the building, and you get the sense that he's talking about Rise Up as a whole. That's the whole purpose of Rise Up is to help everyone,
except for those few that sort of lose it.
Some people can't be helped. Some people don't want to be helped. And if the spirits that you encountered don't want to be helped, then there's nothing we can do about that. But do you really want to be party to murder of other men?
I mean, you don't need rotten skin to be a monster, man. I'll say that much.
No, I suppose you don't.
Didn't really plan on it, but we kind of learned that there's more to these deaths than just happenstance. It sounds like they were, and I'll recount what happened, or what we were told about the portal and the summoning and the ritual. There's something going on, and maybe killing them isn't the right way, but we do need to stop them.
John looks very concerned, and he puts a hand on his forehead and nods. And he says, "Yes, yes, that's clear to me. I didn't realize how extensive this situation was, but look, we are 4 hunters, and we have an emotions to Rachel, you know, and Foster, whose token I need to add. I'm sorry."
Foster just materializes behind us. Whoa.
For some odd reason, I have a different game where there's a ghost character, and when I put her into the map, or when I take her out of it, I have a player that always goes like pop, and like it makes everybody laugh. I'm like, that is not the sound effect it makes. And she's like, why not? It's like Genie from My Dream of Jeannie. Yeah. Real quick, do either of you hear singing?
I heard it very faintly, like
Okay.
a few seconds ago.
Give me just one moment.
Yeah, I'm gonna be right back for a second too.
That's fine.
I'm back.
I am still here.
What have you been spending your XP on?
My friend, have been spending all of my XP on my attributes.
Really?
I have social and mental attributes.
Oh, very nice. What's your where are they at now? Or what
My social is 343 and my mental is 443, and that's basically all I've done.
Very nice.
I feel like I want to start getting my edges up. Like I want to start going deeper into edges, but
yeah, you can't use those with the XP.
Yeah. But it's always weird to me, like you use your attributes way more than your abilities. So it just was like, why won't you always increase them?
Yeah.
Like we do way more checks with our attributes than our edges or our backgrounds or our abilities. So I always feel like every time I play Old World or every time I play World of Darkness, it's just, okay, let me increase my attributes.
Yeah. I just find it weird how in this this hunter, I guess, system, how conviction is, meant to be spent, but also meant to be used as EXP as well. It just seems very strange.
What's happening?
Oh, I was just talking about, how conviction works in this system. It just feels very strange to me. Because it's like, it's something that you want, high up, but you also want to, you have to, spend it and, use it as EXP as well.
Oh,
Word?
to get new virtue points.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, but the cool thing is that instead of like going back to 0 or 1, it goes back to your starting number, which is 3 or 4 in your case.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm going to put Foster in. There he is. Just put him right there. Where were we?
You were.
Zephyr just told them about the portal and the ritual and stuff, and then Mullins said, "Oh, I didn't realize the depths."
Mullins agrees with you. Yes, this problem is clearly more extensive than I realized, but murder won't make it better. If anything, these men should be brought to justice legally. There must be something we can do between all of us. I mean, we're hunters and spirits respectively. There must be something we can do. If we put all of our minds and abilities together, we must be able to somehow make this right without violence and bloodshed.
I mean, if we could, pin all the shit that happened to the Trident onto them, maybe. Need a lot of, evidence and documents. I know for a fact that whatchamacallit, Tobin, John Tobin, he was the head of legal. Apparently, he probably forged some documents that the rig was in perfect working order before they hit that supposed gas pocket. I mean, you can find, stuff like that and try to, prove that, they weren't all up to code and shit, maybe. But I don't know if, that's really feasible. Especially on such short notice.
So, and Drew pipes in at this point. So our alternative is to just what? Like, go in with a few Uzis and mow everyone down? Or do we turn them over to the rots and just say, like, bon appetit, want some salt?
Well, you put up a plan then. Because right now, from what I've seen, what I've been seeing and hearing about AEC, the more they just keep trudging along and keep on going, the more rots they keep on filing into this world. If we can take down these top executives, we can slow them down at least.
Drew looks over at Zephyr. He says, "Is that how you feel too?"
I'm kind of. My character is kind of looking at the ground kind of ashamed after Drew says, "So what? We'll bust him with a bunch of Uzis and kill him." But I'll kind of. So I'm kind of looking at the ground ashamed. Well, I mean, what else can you think of?
I mean, we've got ghosts of our own. Can't they, like what Mason was saying? Like maybe we can make them confess to everything they've done. There's still 3 of them left. If all 3 of them confess, and if we can make the one guy confess to all the murders, then that's something right there. We can stop them legally.
All right, man. And listen, I'm playing with the toolbox that I know, and I know how to use a gun. I know how to use my fist. I don't know what the hell a ghost can do. Okay, so if a ghost can do that, sure, I'm open to the possibilities. But all right, Foster, do you think you could do that? Now look over at Foster.
I don't. I mean, like, I've heard of spirits being able to possess people, but I'm still new at this, man. I don't really know what I'm doing. And then Rachel pipes up and she says, we we can do things. We have certain abilities that could work, but for us to force a confession, we would have to, get into their minds and we'd have to either scare them into confessing, or we'd have to, I don't know. I think it's possible. I would have to talk with my colleagues about it, but would you be willing to give us a few days to talk it over and come up with a plan?
As long as you recognize that a few days is literal in this case. We don't have much time.
All right, give me, and you do have like 3 days at this point. Just give me 3 days to come up with a plan. And if we can't, or if you don't want to do it, then obviously that's your choice. And then Drew says, I'm going to help them, come up with their non-violent plan. But guys, look, one way or the other, if we decide on just straight up murdering these people, he claps his hands together and then like puts them up. He's like, I'm out. I can't do that anymore.
And again, I'll be kind of ashamed, but not really knowing. I'm not going to say anything, but that's what my character is looking like at this point.
Okay. And then you get the roll perception, empathy, both of you.
Perception, empathy.
Difficulty 5.
My perception specialty is detail oriented. Is this applying to whatever?
No, it is not.
Okay. Perception.
You said difficulty 5?
That's correct.
Oh, 2 successes.
Yeah, 2 successes. What do you think of 3?
Yeah. So you guys definitely get the sense, without them actually saying anything, that John and Rachel are on board with Drew. Like, they're not going to call the cops or anything, but if you guys go through with this, you get the sense that Rise Up and Drew will be doors that will be closed to you.
Okay, well, as it stands, I would much rather prefer to have a nonviolent solution to this. But I do think it's prudent that we at least investigate what all of our options are. And if that means coming up with a plan B, I think that's worthwhile. And I hope that you can appreciate at least coming up with a plan B that we can fall back to if all this goes to shit.
After, so you're trying to convince him.
I'm just trying to say that if they can't come up with something in 3 days, that's like an actual plan, that this is another alternative, and to not just completely like avoid contact with us because we went through with this violent path. I'm saying, hey, we're rushed for time. We're going to work on this one. You guys work on that one. And as much as you don't agree with it, at least you can understand that this is the time to act, and we were forced into this this path, this plan.
John says, I don't hold grudges. And I think that anybody can be redeemed. But it's like I said before, people have to want to choose to do the right thing. And they they basically close down after that. And he says, do what you have to do. We'll be in touch, and we'll let you know if we come up with anything.
Yeah, he's just gonna turn and leave.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So just real quick, let's head back to Mason's junkyard. Boy, we're taking you guys all over the place today. Yeah. So basically, here is where it stands. Travis and Dev seem to be okay with murdering the AEC executives. They don't really even consider it murder. They consider it more like this is part of a much bigger thing, and these guys are clearly not above, getting their hands dirty and doing really heinous, illegal stuff. So they're willing to help you no matter what call that you make. Drew and John and Rise Up are not gonna, be party to anything that involves murder. And then presumably the Trident senior staff, the Rots, and you guys, if you want to try to do another meeting with them before the big shareholder meeting, then you can try that. But you get the sense that they are not going to be satisfied with anything that doesn't involve the deaths of the execs.
That's cool.
What?
Hold on 1 second. George, thank you very much. Have a good day. Thanks, I guess. My bad. 7. Whoops. Yeah, that's cool. I like that. We have to pick who we're gonna work with.
Basically, yeah.
I mean, talking, I guess, chatting with Drew on the way out, or sorry, chatting with Mason on the way out, I kind of agree with them in a non-violent way. I just don't know. I hope they can come up with something because I could.
Cool. Yeah, see, my problem with this whole non-violent situation, is these guys. It's a company, man. They're good with legalese and all that shit. I mean, they got me out of pretty much dead to rights and murder. I don't think. I think AEC. If we try to pin the I guess the Trident disaster on these top executives, show all the blame, the criminality of it. They'll just sort of wipe it under the rug. That's my worry. In which case, we would have lost our opportunity to take these guys out when they were all sort of gathered up.
Yeah, and I hope they come up with a better plan, because getting them to confess, in my head, with what with their resources and with their lawyers and team of lawyers, I guess I should have said. I don't see how there can be any consequences, even if they do confess. It's going to take forever to file a lawsuit or get these people on trial, or to get them jail time, and they'll really not.
Months. And in the meantime, we'll have at least 6 Rots, still with a vendetta, unless somehow Raza manages to curb them. Although, from when we were talking to them, they didn't really seem too interested in a sort of peaceful negotiations. Or
what
outcomes, I would say.
What if we could convince the Rots and not lie to them, but be honest? Hey, these 4 people aren't actually the head guys. It's this witch. And what we're going to do is we're going to interrogate these 4 guys, or capture Charles alive to get intel on the witch. And if you want to exact revenge, if you want your revenge, if you want to punish the people responsible for your death, this witch is really the person that you need to kill, you need to silence. And maybe Drew and John will be more understanding of, hey, there's a supernatural witch running around trying to connect with undead portals. Like, maybe we could keep both of them happy with something like that. What do you think?
The passing blame on to the witch, that doesn't sound like a bad idea, actually. I don't know if we managed to persuade the rats to see it that way, but I mean, it's not a bad idea.
Yeah, and if we can tell them, AEC, as mean as it sounds, AEC as a company doesn't care about them. The witch is the one that told them to dig there, that was really the one telling them to keep pressing on regardless of the consequences,
No,
and
that
that
was
caused them to get their throats cut. Like, the reason all that happened is because the witch told them that something was going to be there. So really, she's the one that we have to go after, and maybe um, we
out of
can.
character. I think you're thinking about someone else. The witch was the one that just did the ritual, and she helped.
Right, but I was saying, like, AEC without the witch doesn't know that there's a portal there, doesn't know about, like, the ritual of cutting their throats and then drowning them. And if we can somehow, and I don't even know if we're spinning it, like, maybe it's the truth, if we can tell the rots, hey, our plan is now that all we need to do is capture somebody and interrogate them, because the real person that you want to exact your vengeance on, that you want to rip apart, is this witch, and that's the person we need to get to. And if we kill all of these executives in 3 days, we're not going to know who the witch is, where she is, how do we get to her, who her contact is, anything like that. Like, we'll kind of lose that thread if we just kill all these people.
Right. Yeah, it could work. Or at least I think it could work. Do you think you could sell it to the rots?
I think it's worth trying. I think it's worth trying.
All right. And what do we expect to do with the AEC guys then?
I think our plan should be to take them alive, to interrogate them. We need the info that they have in order to make a thread to the witch. So our plan could still remain intact. The fire, uploading the file into the IT department, getting driver Travis in there as well. All of that can still be intact, but instead of us actually killing them, we just need to knock them out, or capture them, or drug them, or make them unconscious somehow, or
And
whatever.
afterwards, what are we supposed to do with them? Just cut them loose? Or he's trying to force a confession out of them?
I haven't thought that far. I don't know. I don't know.
Because I mean, AEC is still going to go, trudging along if these executives are still out and about. They still have the goal and the intent, I imagine, to take advantage of that rift out in there in the ocean.
I think we shouldn't discount the support that we can get through Dev, or even through Rise Up. If we have these AEC executives alive, we did what they wanted, and we're also still doing what the Trident staff wants, and that's punishing the person responsible. They might have a safe house they can stash them. They might have, maybe they just do the proper channels from there, but we can at least ask them, because I don't know, my apartment's not big enough to hold 4 people.
Yeah, I'm on board if you're willing to try. I mean, I listen. As much as I hate being DEC's little doggy, barking whenever they want me to and jumping whenever they say. You know, I really don't want to be killing anyone. You know. But yeah, if we don't have to, I'm certainly up for it.
Well, we're kind of pressed for time. Can we set up a meeting with them for tomorrow? Let me sleep on it and see if we have a better idea tomorrow.
All right.
Okay. So are you guys both going to sleep, or?
Yeah, I'm gonna drive back to the junkyard.
Okay.
And
No.
we have a way to get in contact with the routes, right?
You
Pretty
do.
sure we do.
You have a
Yeah.
phone number, yeah. Now, at some point, Mason needs to take out like 2 days for working on that car.
Yeah.
So we can say that he's already taken out the 2 days.
Cool.
And then you spent today talking with Drew and John and Rachel. In which case that would give you guys 2 days left before the shareholders meeting. So keep in mind that you still need to talk with Gary Sims.
Yeah. Oh, I'd call him probably sometime after John Mullins and stuff because that's all we really did that day.
Okay, yeah, I could see that. So what do you want to tell Gary?
Just mainly that Mason's feeling, I don't know, antsy, a bit uncomfortable. It's sort of like the calm before the storm kind of a feeling, and he thinks with finding that big group, that nest of rots, on the edge of Gulfport, that the rots are about to do something big, something soon, and and he should be on the lookout pretty much.
Gary asks you to hold up. He says, "Wait, do you know where they are right now?"
Listen, boss, I don't know exactly where they are right now. It's just a feeling, the hair on the back of my neck standing up and whatnot, like electricity in the air. I don't like it.
And what would you suggest?
I don't know. I just know something big is gonna happen soon. Roger planning something, so I just thought I should forewarn you. Get your guys ready, do whatever you need to do.
How would you? Okay, so out of character, like, are you trying to convince him to?
I'm alluding that something big is going to happen sometime within like the next couple of days or so, a few days, and I'm hoping he makes a connection. Like, oh, there's a shareholder meeting with all the people that the Rots want to kill are going to be there.
Okay, well, just remember, like, it would be. You can mention the shareholders meeting to him without setting him off, because I said it's public knowledge.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but that's up to you.
Mm.
So he says, like, this feeling of yours. Do you have it? Can you be more specific, or?
I don't know. Like I said, it's like the dogs raise hackles when something isn't right in the night. I was doing some research, and I saw that AEC was having a shareholder meeting later this week. If I were you, I'd probably be on the lookout there. I'd place my bet. If you executives are going to be gathered up.
Yes, and we can't change anything about the meeting. The board is getting way too anxious. Damn it. Mr. Reed, any suggestions that you have would be very welcome at this point.
All I mean, you saw what one of them could do when he went charging into, your headquarters last time. Took a full team of guys with machine guns to put him down. Even then, they didn't keep him down for a while. So I think at least there was, maybe 6 or a dozen rots. So get a lot more guys with machine guns, some potentially. If you need me, I'd be happy to, sign on again. I can probably take on 1 or 2, maybe 3. I don't know.
All right. I'll send someone to pick you up, and we'll debrief you.
All right then.
Click, and a little while later, a familiar SUV pulls up in front of your door. And I assume Jackie's at his place at this point? Chad? Crap, did he lose his mic again?
I don't know. Maybe he lost his internet.
Maybe. Let's give him a minute.
All right.
Over here. Okay, can you hear me now?
Oh,
Yes.
there you are.
All right.
Okay. Sorry, I just threw it. Did you miss anything that we talked about, or?
Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. No, I didn't miss anything. I just in Windows I had set the default mic to be something else, so it wasn't picking up my voice. I heard Mason's conversation. I heard all that.
Okay.
Yes, I'd probably be just chilling in my apartment.
All right. Cool.
When the SUV comes up, Hulk is just frothing at the mouth, snapping, on the chain, on the edge of his chain, the doghouse.
So, Sims brings you to the AEC building. 1 second. Nope. There we go. Go ahead and drag your icon in to where like this guy is. There we go. All right, cool. So Sims asks you to sit down, and then the two of you start talking turkey. And he says, all right, I think it's about time you had one of these. And he slides you a security badge.
Does it have my picture on it?
Yes.
Oh. All right. Thank you.
Yes. Because you may have to operate somewhat on your own. You may need to get to other parts of the building, depending on the circumstances.
Is this all
We
access,
really appreciate-
or is it?
Yes, we wanted to give you this to show how much we appreciate the work you've done for our company so far. And, we can just tell that you're really on board. And listen, Mr. Reed, between you and me, and he looks one way and then he looks another.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah. Have you been
Did I
saying,
freeze or did Brian freeze?
can you hear me?
Oh, we lost him.
I could hear him just fine, just a moment ago.
Oh, he's back again.
Oh, I heard you say something and then you froze, Brian, and then I just refreshed the Hangout and I'm good again.
Sure.
Weird.
Okay. So basically, Sims has given Mason an ID badge, and he says, we really appreciate the work you've done so far. It's been invaluable. You've kept them off of our management team, and you've given us really valuable insights. You've probably saved their lives more than they even know at this point. And he Sims looks one direction and then he looks another. He looks really conspiratorial, and he says, between you and me, Mr. Reed, if all of this goes well, Mr. Herschel will probably offer you a permanent position on the AEC security team.
Oh,
That's a big step up in terms of pay and benefits.
guessing it comes with a lot of perks.
It certainly does.
Happy to help, I guess.
Yeah. Hang on. It's 8 o'clock. Guys, do you mind if we take a 10-minute break real quick?
Nope.
Yeah, I just gotta
Be good.
get some water, go to the bathroom. Okay, 1 sec. Hey guys, I'm here. I'm typing some stuff up.
We lost Jad again.
Well, some bitch.
He's typing in Skype.
What? He's not even in.
He's typing in Skype.
Oh, he is typing in Skype. Okay, there he is. Oh goodness, heartburn.
Oh, he won't be able to be back tonight. His computer died.
Lame. Although, I'll be honest with you, man. This is good because actually, no. This pertains directly to you, so this is fine. We don't need him for this last scene. There's just this last scene I want to wrap up with you. Is that cool?
Yep.
Okay. So you're in the meeting room with Gary Sims.
Yeah.
Who slides you an ID badge. And he says, now you've got a feeling that the undead gentleman will be paying us a visit soon at this stockholders meeting?
Like I said before, it ain't nothing concrete or anything like that. It's just I feel something brewing, and it's happening soon. And the only thing that I can think of in my research is this here shareholders meeting.
I see. Now, you're sure it's just a feeling and not anything concrete like, I don't know, perhaps straight from the horse's mouth, as it were? And Sims looks at you and gives you kind of a wink. Mr. Reed, don't bother squirming and trying to think of something to say. I know you met with those undead gentlemen. I know what you discussed. You didn't really think you and your friends were so cunning that the security leader didn't realize something was up at the hotel? I had them follow you. At a distance, of course. You wouldn't believe how sophisticated directional microphones have become in the last few years. You know what? Let me just skip right to the point. Yes, the security team is mine, and that's why they didn't exact any retribution on you or your friends, because I told them not to. And yes, what the rots told you was true. Herschel did sacrifice his men to save his own ass. And the asses of the rest of the Trident crew, but he didn't really care about them. You see, the people, if you can call them that demanded retribution for the Trident incident made a very compelling case, and there was very little that would satisfy them. The deal was this. Either Herschel sacrificed the Trident senior staff to their god, if you will, or they would exact revenge upon the entire company. A handful of men versus a few hundred people. I think you see why Mr. Herschel chose the way he did. Regardless, Herschel was and is incompetent. The Trident incident would never have happened if he had just... It's not worth going into. He has angered a group of people that cannot be reasoned with easily and only understand blood. Herschel is incompetent, and so AEC needs new blood at the top. Now, I'm willing to let you have him. I'm going to need Forrest Scott and Reed Giles alive because, you know, good help is so hard to find these days. You can turn Herschel over to the authorities or to whomever you wish. After that, what happens next is out of my hands. The only stipulation for my help is that you agree not to let anything be tied back to this company or myself. Now, if you agree to help me with this endeavor, Mr. Mason, you'll find a permanent seat at the table, and you'll find that seat to be very comfortable.
Mm-hmm. Oh, hold on. I don't care. Give me a second.
Sure. Sorry. It's kind of a bomb to drop on you.
Yeah. All right. Don't lead back to AEC. 3 guys get off scot-free. I get Herschel. All right. Before I agree or disagree with anything you just sort of laid out there on the table, what exactly you plan to do with those rots then?
Oh, well, once Herschel is out of the way, that little problem should resolve itself. As I understand, returned spirits have unfinished business, and I assume he is theirs. So he goes away, and then they go away. Problem solved.
Mm-hmm. And you sure, because, you know, when I talked to them, there were a few other names on that list that they wanted to get at.
Yes, but they weren't in the room when the actual blood was spilled. I mean, the only reason that that our undead friends would want them is because, yes, they do partially share in the blame of the incident occurring at all, but it was Herschel who gave the final go-ahead and said, yes, let's cut their throats and drown them.
Mm-hmm.
The other 3 had nothing to do with that.
All right. Well, you do make a rather compelling argument, I have to say.
Sim smiles at that from ear to ear.
Yeah. Mason's going to sort of fidget and, you know, with the key or the badge and sort of look at the image of him, you know, under the AEC logo there on the badge. He will shake his head a bit and just say, all right, then. Well, seems like we have a bit of an agreement then.
I thought we might.
Charles Herschel, AEC gets off.
Yes. And like I said before, if this all goes well, you know, you only have one direction to go, and that's up, Mr. Reed.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that you and people like you are compelled to do something about all of the little things that go bump in the night. And we can help in that regard. We have many interests that venture, let's say, beyond the usual legal and diplomatic parameters that the known world deals with.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, we can scratch each other's backs, as it were.
I'm sure we can. Another question though, since you apparently heard everything that went down in that house there with the Roths, you are no doubt also aware of my associates.
I am.
And how exactly are you planning on, working them into this matter, or can we just leave them out entirely?
Oh, however they factor in to the situation, Mr. Reed, I expect you to be able to handle that.
Right. All right then.
We wouldn't want them upsetting the apple cart.
Mm-hmm.
So just make sure that they don't, one way or the other.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I'm gonna need some time then to, I guess, think about what exactly my next step's gonna be. So if you don't mind, it's been a long day.
You have 48 hours.
Uh-huh.
Well, actually 24 hours, because we're going to need to spend the 24 hours after that prepping you for the shareholders meeting.
Mm-hmm.
So just give me a call and let me know what they say.
All right. I'll do that. I'll take the badge and stuff in my pocket and head out. Do I see any security guards? You know, the paramilitary guys that I sort of saw earlier, like on the way out.
You actually don't. And roll. Hang on. Roll intelligence, intuition. I know you've got like nothing in intuition, just difficulty 6. Or no, you know what? Roll intelligence security, difficulty 6.
Security.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Intelligence. Security. Difficulty 6.
Mm-hmm.
3.
So with all your run-ins with the law, and and from what you know of basic security, you get the feeling that if there is no one like outwardly watching you, like if you can't see them, that means you're definitely being watched.
Mm-hmm.
There are security cameras like lining every corridor, after all.
Right.
Oh, and before you leave, Mr. Reed, that card, I am alerted to every time you use that card to go anywhere in the building.
I'll keep that in mind.
Excellent. I look forward to our continued partnership, Mr. Reed.
Yeah, Reed's gonna close the door as he heads out. I'll hop into my car and think about what I plan to do next.
Cool.
All right.
Do you have any questions, or was there anything else you wanted to do tonight that you could do without Zephyr being here?
None that I can think of at the moment, but I'm sure I'll come up with, something as I ruminate of, what I should try to do now that AEC sort of pretty much, we got you.
Well, this one guy.
Yeah, this one guy.
Yeah. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll definitely need to think about what I need to do. Definitely a dilemma.
Yep.
Experience or
Oh yeah. Give yourselves 3 experience.
free experience? Yeah. Alrighty. Cool. Yes. Well, thank you for the game. It was fun. I
Absolutely.
like the decisions. Definitely makes me think.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to give you guys like a variety of options of
Mhm.
what to do and where to go for the end game here.
Yeah.
And I imagine we'll probably, depending on how things go, we still had like half a session left to go, or most of half of a session left to go here. So, we could have gotten, we could have gotten more done. We could have like led all the way up to
The
the
actual
last thing.
day.
Yeah, I imagine that there's probably 2, maybe 3 sessions left
Mhm.
of this season, and
Yeah.
so something, and I'll tell Jad this. Something you want to think about is whether or not you would want to come back with this character for a new season, or maybe you'd want to come back with a whole different character.
Mhm.
Um, because this will, what's coming up will be like the close to a chapter in this chronicle, if you will.
Right.
So basically, like, ask yourself, do I want to come back, later? There will be a hiatus because I'm going to have to edit these things. I'm going to have to publish them, and I'm going to have to write the details for the next chapter. Um, and so your decision of whether or not you want to come back um, will probably directly affect like how the last bit of this chapter like shakes out. Basically, if you guys tell me like, hey, I've had a lot of fun, but I don't really want to come back for more,
Mhm.
um, like we'll probably have um, obviously your characters will be uh, it would be easier to kill them off in that kind of
Right.
scenario. But if you wanted to come back, then you know,
Mhm.
yeah. I don't want to like give away the ending that way because it is still possible to achieve victory in this game, even if your character ends up dying.
Yeah.
So it's just something to be aware of.
Mhm.
Yeah. And if you have like a third option that you want to throw my way, like, hey, I don't know if I'm going to be able to come back, but I'd like to come back. Can we have my character go on the lam, like underground off the grid kind of thing?
Yeah.
Like I would be up for that if you gave me the details of how you thought that might shake out.
Mhm. Yeah. Because after this chronicle, I don't know if I'll have Saturdays open because I'm starting training for a new job sometime in February. So
Oh,
it's
okay.
gonna be taking up some of my time. I have to cut back some of my other games too,
Okay.
fortunately. So
So okay, so this is good. No, this is good. I will impress upon Jad that we really want to wrap up in January.
yeah, it's February 9th is when like my training is supposed to start. So yeah, anytime before that, be
Okay.
preferable where we can wrap up.
So we'll have January, and it looks like, I guess, the first week of February.
Hmm.
Okay. All right. Cool. Excellent. All right. Well, Connor, thank you, man. Have a great rest of your weekend. Happy New Year.
Yes, Happy New Year
Yep.
and Merry belated Christmas.
Merry belated Christmas, sir.
All right, have a good one.
You too. Talk to you later.
Later.